Today I sat down with Yanki Greenberger, one of the OGs of helping. He's been doing it for years and years and years. Throughout the years, we've had a lot to do with each other, crossing paths, but he has been out in Chicago and California before that. He's really been doing a lot of awesome work. We sat down, we had great conversations. Right now, he's running the Illinois Healing Center for Trauma and Addiction. The conversation went in many different directions, but we got to talk about addiction, specifically sex addiction, talking about connections with your therapist, how to do therapy properly, how to be vulnerable. So many great topics, and had an interesting take on codependency. So this is a really great conversation. You want to get into it, and I really enjoyed it. Remember to like, follow, subscribe, do all the things, press all the bells and buttons and everything and all that stuff, because it really helps. Also, comments. I really appreciate all the comments and all the feedback. So, love you, and I hope you enjoy.
Hello and welcome to the Brainstorm Podcast. And now, your host, Sony Perlman.
We're live.
Okay,
Rifki Klein's husband. Okay, funny that I'm sorry. That's a funny way to start.
no, it's fine. It's my claim to fame.
Rifki Klein
Anyway.
grew up on my block. I knew her before you.
I think you had my brother-in-law here.
I did?
Yes.
Oh, Yitz was here. Yeah, of course. I don't know why. For
Right.
some reason, I didn't register that was your brother. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yitz was on the podcast. That's
Yeah.
right. Yitz Klein.
Mm-hmm.
Rock star, man.
Yeah. My wife's a rock star. She's
Yes.
like, she's inspiring people.
Well, I don't
all
think
in
I've
Chicago.
seen her since she's a little, she's young.
Right.
I don't think I would recognize her. Sorry. Is that terrible? Probably.
No, but wait, her face looks the same.
This is the same face.
Yeah.
Okay.
Same face.
So maybe I would recognize her.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's not the reason you're here.
Yeah.
You have your own identity.
Yeah, I am my own person.
Okay, so that was a funny way to start. So what was the story? Okay, we're starting with the story of how you started our place.
Oh, yeah. So this
That's
is
not true.
This is gonna blow your mind, right?
He told me he's going to tell me a story. So let's
I
hear.
didn't start our place.
Okay.
The idea of our place was mine.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So here we go. We used to all hang out, I don't know if you remember this, at Playboy Billiards, right? Our place shut down Playboy because they got no more business.
And primetime.
And Primetime.
That's right.
But Primetime was more for the SYs. That was like,
Okay.
right? The real hardcore Brooklynites,
Oh my gosh, that's such a throwback for Brooklyn people.
right?
Playboy
Billiards, right? And Rabbi Yitzchak Mitnick, who was our Rebbe at the time in Kamenetz, would always ask us, like, why are you guys hanging out there? Why are you guys hanging out there? Why are you guys hanging out there? He didn't want us hanging out there. And I said, well, you know what? Why don't you put together a place where we can just go hang out? So the next year I was in yeshiva in Israel. He calls me up and he goes, Yanki, I started this place. It's called Our Place. And it's exactly what you said I should do. And
Okay.
and that's the beginning of Our Place.
All right.
So everyone has me to thank.
I thank you. It's funny. Fine, I'll give you all the credit.
Thank you.
Although I don't think it worked exactly like that, but it sounds like you were the muse, part of the muse. I think Chaim Glanz really started it, and Rabbi Minnick wanted to do it at the same time. They kind of collaborated.
Right.
But yeah, you probably put the fire under them.
Well, so Claudia sort of has me to thank,
Yes.
basically.
Well, I'll tell you that Rabbi Minnick, I did not start at our place. I started in Priority 1, before Priority 1. So it was me, Rabbi Silver, and Rabbi Mitnick were the only three people working in this new high school that Rabbi Shai Cohen was putting together. I got to get Rabbi Shai Cohen on. He's an old legend. He's
Yeah, he's a legend.
one of the OGs. But I have to get him on. But yeah, so while our place was opening, I was working with Rabbi Mitnick in Five Towns.
Okay.
I forgot the name of it. That's it. That's the whole story. There's nothing exciting about it at all.
What was?
okay.
Oh,
So when you were because you're a little younger than me, you went to Israel after me.
I went to Israel 97, 98 year.
Okay. I think I went 94, 95.
Right. You were still in Israel though.
Was
you
I?
were still
Yeah.
in Israel.
Because you were there, and my brother Kiwi was there.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
I remember. I was like Shauna Gimmel, I think, at the time.
Something like that.
Something like that.
I used to see you hang around.
still had long hair.
The old city. You
The
walk
old
around
city,
the old
yes.
city with your wife.
Oh, that's right.
Right.
We weren't even dating then.
I have a vision. I don't know what this is about,
Yeah.
and I think it's real. Of you and your wife, who I knew because she was friends with my sister.
Right.
So
Shout out Malky.
Malky, yeah, shout out Malky. And the two of you walk around the old city. I was like, oh, I know both of you guys. And that was my memory. That's it.
I thought you were going to say you actually put us together. That was
I
See,
probably,
let me tell you the story of your life. I'm the one who actually put you guys together because I knew.
I probably did without even knowing it.
Well, the person who actually has this chus, I think, is Terrell. Not. Yeah, I think it was Noah Ross. I don't know if you remember the guy Noah Ross.
Doesn't sound familiar. I'm actually very bad with Jewish names because they all sound the same.
Yeah, but Noah, I don't know where Noah is, but he's the one of the first conversation I had with my wife was with Noah. Anyway, yeah. I grew up around the corner from her, but never met her,
Right.
my wife, which is wild.
You were very from.
What?
You were very from.
No, I was not. I was not very from. I don't know how it didn't happen. Anyway, but it didn't happen. I met her in Israel.
Okay.
So then everything was going all right for you, and you decided to destroy your life, become a social worker. No, I'm kidding. That's a joke.
The truth is, I'll tell you the truth.
Yeah.
Is that me in school never got along. Like it didn't make sense to me. Math, English, reading, nothing made sense to me. The only college class that I actually did well in, other than social work, I'll get into that in a second, was a statistics course, because I had a foundation of statistics because I was so into baseball. So as a super young kid, I would before the computer games would keep the stats for you, I would actually keep my own stats. So I actually knew how to create batting averages and ERAs and all that other stuff. WHIP and all this other stuff weren't really attractive stats at the time.
Was that whip?
WHIP.
Okay, I don't know.
Walks and hits per innings pitch.
Okay, all right.
Right. So statistics was the only class, but me and school never got along. Until I took a psychology class. I took Psych 101 just to see if it would do anything, and it just made sense to me. And from that, I was like, okay, let me take the next psych class, and that I did really well in that. I had a really good GPA in my major classes, the psych classes, and all my other classes, terrible.
Really?
But I got into Wurzweiler, and the rest is currently happening.
The rest is not history at all. The rest is, oh, wow.
It's developing.
Wow. So you got into Wurzweiler. Okay. And then you got your social work degree.
I got a social work degree. Yeah.
So why are you in Chicago? You grew up in? No.
No.
You grew up here?
Nothing in Chicago. So I was working at Yatsky. After I graduated, I got a job at Yatscan, working with Lou Abrams and Roy Tellis, and Alexander Rand was a therapist there also at the time.
Right.
So I got a job there. Then I got a call. Do you remember Avi Leibovic?
Yeah.
He lives in Muncie now.
I know.
Okay. So he called me.
He was in California.
Right. He called me and said, hey, I got this thing.
H. Talmud. Thank
Right.
you.
So he called me and said, I got a thing in LA going, and I want to start something just for the kids because I'm having a bunch of teenagers coming to my programs. It's just not the right fit. Can you come out here and run it? So off I went to LA.
Oh my God, I remember this. I totally forgot about this.
Yeah, I went to LA. I was there for 3 years.
Gabe H took after you?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
nice.
Oh no, he was actually there with me during the time, and when I left, he took over. He was working part-time at H. Talmud, and then he took over full-time after I left. So I was there for 3 years, and then I got a call about them trying to start a program in Chicago. And LA, if you know anything about LA, it's kind of expensive.
It's very expensive.
So I knew long-term in the back of my head, it would be very hard to stay in LA. And then this opportunity in Chicago came along. I met the people there. They're great people, still great people. And I've been there 15, 16 years in Chicago. So I started Madrigos Midwest. It's called Upwards now.
Right, okay.
And they're doing incredible work. Real community organization. You think about a community organization. That's what That's what that organization is now. It's really phenomenal. And then after there for 10 years, I decided to go off my own and start Illinois Healing Center for Trauma and Addiction to really just do have a therapy practice that just focused on trauma and addiction, because to me, it seems like that's the secret sauce. You're at the end of the day, you're treating trauma, and I just have a lot of background in addiction. I just felt like it was the right fit. So
I think a lot of people don't realize the connection between trauma and addiction.
I mean, you don't have, in my opinion, I'd love to hear yours.
Okay.
You don't have addiction without trauma. You could have a trauma without addiction, but you don't have addiction without trauma. That's
okay. So, I mean, I agree. Okay. But I will say that the longer I'm doing this, the more I realize that pretty much every single thing in existence is on a spectrum. And that's meaning, is there anybody who has no trauma in this world? Like, it's no. I'm saying,
but then is that real capital T trauma?
Right.
Or is that just life?
So that's what I'm saying is like
face?
really trauma. This is, and I'll say my opinion about something and let's see what your opinion on this. I'm going a little on not a tangent, but the same thing. Really, trauma is not the event. It's how we tell the story about the event. Meaning, I don't really understand the capital T trauma. I understand on some level, but I have met people that are the stories they got from being bullied as a kid seem to be as bad as being molested for 12 years by their older brother.
1,000%. I'll tell you.
Which to me is crazy because I've been, bullied as a kid, and it almost like it didn't change my story at all. Like maybe it did a little, but it didn't have a major effect on my life. And for this person, it did. So it's what I'm trying to say is, I'm not trying to cut you off, but I'm trying to say is that trauma is a story. So you can have people with very minor traumas end up with like serious addictions. You can have people with major traumas with no addictions or very little addictions. So do I believe they're almost 100% connected? Yes. It's just the human brain is so complicated that these spectrums are, I don't even know if what I'm saying is relevant because it's hard to like put this into numbers. Like we can't put statistics on this. Like,
well, I think you're saying, I think you're saying a truth about trauma is that the same event may inspire a trauma response in one person and not a trauma response in the other person, right? It's how we make sense of things that, does our brain figure it out, like what this event is and means about you and means about the environment and the world around you? Or does it say, you know what, this is so messed up, let's put it over here and we'll just forget about it for now and deal with it later. And then it never really gets processed in the brain.
Right. It doesn't, it's like the difference between guilt and shame. Yeah. I've heard this said like this, and some people have, like Menachem Poznansky said like a different touch on this. I don't remember his whole thing. But guilt and shame, where guilt is what you did was bad. Shame is you are bad. Mm-hmm. So that was the best way I've ever heard it explained, is that so something could happen in a trauma and you see it kind of like the guilt. Oh, that was bad. Mm-hmm. Or trauma happened, I am bad.
Right. And you could do something. Yeah, first of all, that's exactly how I define the difference between shame and guilt. Shame and guilt is I am bad versus I did something bad, right? I could do a lot of bad things. That doesn't mean I'm a bad person, right? It's when I decide that I'm a bad person, I live with shame, and my whole essence now is about, nobody wants to like live with that I am bad. I'm such a bad person. I'm like, then you just, I don't know if this is an appropriate word for here, but you're just crapping on yourself 24/7.
Right.
Even when you're not talking, even when you're not thinking, but you're walking around with this idea that I am bad. And then how were you supposed to like?
It reminds me of the best expression in recovery. Because everybody's saying, I should this. Stop shoulding all over yourself.
By the way, I heard Menachem say that line.
The greatest.
And that is my, But Menachem, if you're out there listening to this, I've been stealing that line from you. I always give you credit though.
Oh, Menachem started that line? I thought it was
I heard it from Menachem. I don't know. I said, yeah, stop being the shoulds out of yourself.
The being the shoulds out of yourself.
Yeah.
Or you're shooting all over yourself is my favorite
Okay,
one. That's funny.
Stop
one.
being the shoulds out of yourself. Same thing. Same idea.
It's the same thing. Okay, we'll get more into trauma, but I'm going to ask you because I'm getting a lot of comments, questions, phone calls about sex addiction.
Okay.
And I know you specialize in that.
Yes.
So I want to ask a bunch of questions on that. Is that all right? All right.
As long as I can answer them.
Okay, we'll start. We could go in a million different directions, but this is one of the questions I wanted to ask you. What would you say? Well, first of all, there are people in the recovery world that don't actually believe in sex addiction.
Mm-hmm.
How could I be addicted to sex? Could you explain that?
Yeah. So I think a lot of people in the recovery world have a hard time with sex addiction. No, we have a hard time with sex also. I don't know.
Right.
But they have a hard time with sex addiction because sex innately is something that a person is supposed to have in their life, right? It's something that you're not supposed to be abstinent from. So the idea that you can have something that is a human desire, a human nature type of thing, how could that become an addiction? You're just, you're just.
I mean, a lot of times
over testosterone.
I say it differently. Like you have these celebrities,
Mm-hmm.
and they cheat on their wife, and then they go, "Oh, I have sex addiction. I got to take care of it." So I think a lot of people look at it cynically, like, "Are you just cheating on your wife, or do you really have sex addiction? And what's the difference between sex addiction and just having a desire to have sex?"
Right, and just not, and maybe being a narcissist and thinking that everyone in the world is there for you.
Right.
Right. That's another differential diagnosis.
Wait, it's not there for me? Is that what you're saying to me?
No, I'm saying like the narcissist doesn't believe that this other person is not there for them. If they exist, then they're for me.
Right.
That's the narcissist who sees it that way.
No, I was trying to make a joke like,
oh,
I just discovered that the world is not. All right.
Yeah.
It fell flat, bro. What am I gonna do?
Fly overhead.
Okay, talk to me. What is the difference between just wanting to have a lot of, like just getting out there, getting crazy, or sex addiction? Like, what is that?
Right. So we do have a moral compass and a moral guide, and when we repeatedly break that that compass and that guide, and then we lose control of being able to actually be anchored to that compass. That's when sex addiction comes in, because just like an addiction, I don't want to do this, and yet here I am finding myself doing this. I do think what we do have in sex addiction is this idea of moral incongruence, where I'm doing things that aren't really congruent with what I believe morally and with some of the values I have. And I think you see a lot of that with people who come to treatment because they watch porn, or because they are doing masturbating, or doing a lot of things that are just, you really, like, ideally you shouldn't be doing, right? And again, you're being the shit out of yourself, right? And I think some people they're morally incongruent. They're not aligning their behavior with what they really ideally would like to do.
Isn't that true for anybody who's cheating on their wife?
So no. So the question, I mean, in theory, so the difference is, did it happen one time, or did it happen multiple times? Are you making up entire stories, right? Do you have 3 different burner cell phones so you can cheat on everybody that you're with, and you're just constantly chasing the next, the next opportunity? Are you spending hundreds of thousands of dollars, whether you have it or whether you don't have it, on prostitutes because you can't stop? And you know what? Yeah, people rather give themselves those $100,000 than give it to some woman that they're not going to see again. Right. So people will do things that are so far beyond what we call normal, regular, behavior, and do abnormal, irregular things.
Right.
And that crosses the line of just a guy being a pig and a guy being an addict.
Okay. But you could see how. So you're basically saying that if it's about scale, like how far am I going to keep, acting in a way that's against my values. By the further we go along, the more we are an addict. Is that what we're saying?
Well, yes. And also, just to differentiate, also, it's like I could have a client that tells me that they are having an affair on their wife. That doesn't make them an addict because they're cheating on their wife. It's when they're cheating on their wife and then cheating on their affair partner and then cheating on their affair partners of the person they're having the affair partner. Wow, I got lost over there. They're cheating on their affair partner's affair partner. Right. And it goes.
Right.
If someone tells me, yeah, I messed up and I slept with someone and I can't believe I did that, right? Unfortunately, that does happen. That they're not a sex addict. They just, their compass didn't work that night, right?
I have an interesting. I say this sometimes. Tell me if you agree with this. When someone says, "Oh, sex addiction," trying to understand sex addiction, and I say, I have a question I ask regular addicts. And that question is, are you still getting high? And so regular people who do drugs are like, that's a weird question. Of course they're getting high. And even addicts are like, yeah, of course I get high. I'm like, but are you getting high? And then it's weird because I'm asking it again. And they're like, no, I'm getting all right. I'm getting to a place of I am feeling like baseline. I'm not getting high. People who do drugs and have sex that are illicit, they're having a thrill that is wild and exciting. People who are addicts, I find if someone comes over to me and tells me that they think they're a sex addict, but they're thoroughly enjoying it. They're enjoying the thrill. They're out there. They're having a good time. They have a relationship with someone else, and they're excited by the thrill of it all. I'm like, you're not. Every real sex addict I've ever met is I hate this. Mm-hmm. I'm not enjoying this, and I have no way of controlling it, and I can't just stop with, like you said, this next partner and the next partner. It has to be, I am literally cheating on my wife and then texting this other girl while I'm in bed with the person I'm cheating with my wife on, and that's happening on a constant basis. So I think what I want to say is that it's all about, is it being done to fix you? Or is it being done for a thrill? There's a difference.
I think with all addictions, this is the similar part. With all addictions, it's about getting out of yourself. And when you're getting out of yourself, what you're looking for is, this doesn't sound cliche, but you're looking for the escape from your own reality. Now, whether you're activating that through drugs or whether you're activating through alcohol, whether you're activating it through sex, right? Sex, there's a lot more, I would say, attachment traumas than maybe in regular addiction. Addiction, what I found, and I hate this, having to try to label it. So I'm going to say what I'm going to say, even though I don't fully believe what I'm going to say. Is I think in addiction, it really just becomes about getting the next fix, getting the next high, getting the next. Figuring out when you're going to get high again. For sex addicts, it's really about who am I connecting with next? Who am I going to get out of myself with by connecting to somebody else? Or maybe I'm not connecting because I'm so afraid to connect with them. So I'm going to get a prostitute. So I could just, boom, we could have sex and we'd be done. Or, I could flash you. I can, the exhibitionists, they can go and flash themselves because I can show you my business. And then it's basically we did it, but I didn't have to engage with you anymore. Right. So I did that. Or then you have the love addicts they're in love with being in love. So it's not about necessarily sleeping around with 45 people, but they have to be in a relationship. They can never heal old past attachment wounds because they're just on to the next as soon as they can.
So what about that do you not agree with?
No, so I'm saying I'm saying it's just a different nuance.
Right. I shouldn't always says I think I've learned this over the years, is that I don't think I don't think addiction's about escape at all. I think it's about finding our true self. I think that when I was talking about this on another podcast, and someone I don't remember which one, maybe with this woman Esty Weingarten, but that we're taught that I believe all addictions are attachment problems. I mean, we are having attachment issues, and we really want to connect with other people, thus also connecting with our higher spiritual self, connecting with God, and people are the muscle to God, the allegory to God. Mm-hmm. So I believe that really every addiction starts with people addiction and trying to connect with people and trying to make other people love us so that we feel worthy. What I believe is that gets exhausting. Like if you go back to every drug addict's earlier years, they were trying really hard to make everybody love them. And then it wasn't working. So they came up with a more reliable method of alcohol or drugs or food, something that they could actually control more than other people. But I believe if you peel back all the layers, everybody's a people addict. Everybody's a love addict. Everybody's a sex addict. That's what we're looking for.
Can I take it further?
Yeah, please. This ad is for the women listening to this podcast. This company is called Wig-Guru. It's wig-guru.com. They have the most innovative ways to deal with one of the worst issues of wigs, which is slipping back and it looking not in place. Women have a big issue with, not noticing when everybody could tell that it's a wig because it's slipping back. The amount of innovative products that Wig-Guru have is phenomenal. They are customer-based. Many, many customers are reaching out and saying, could you make this product in this different way? And, I like this part, but I don't like this part. There are many, many different types of wig grips, including the trademarked and copyright pending Grip-A-Fix, original Grip-A-Fix, and as well as her wig glue, which is water soluble and is taking the internet by storm. So go over there, put in the code BRAINSTORM, and you will get 10% off. It is wig-guru.com.
So what you're talking about, I don't think goes far enough. I disagree with you on some the difference between but I agree with you with what you're about to agree with me on here. Is that at the end of the day, people need to love themselves first. And I think with drug addicts, sex addiction, right? Why is it that they need other people to love them? Because they don't love themselves. And if I can't love myself, then why would anybody else love me? So you're right. They may be seeking positive approval from other people, but that's only because they don't love themselves. And that's the hole that they have inside of them. That's why one person, and this is where I disagree, one person will go after sex and because it's like purely attachment, based, or there was some trauma, obviously some trauma there. The statistics are outrageous when it comes to sex addicts being having sexual trauma in their life or early exposure to sexual activities in their life. The statistics are out of this world with regard to that. With drug addicts, alcoholics, it's a way to either numb that lack of love that they don't have for themselves, and it's initially it's when it's all good and working, it's a way for them to get into different friends and different chevras because that's the way that they're being accepted. And then obviously it gets out of control. That's why it's so hard to tell a 16-year-old you're a drug addict because A, what consequences do they have? And second, they're rocking it right now, right? They have all these friends, people like them, people are calling them, people want to hang out with them. But it's never really about them, but they don't care as long as people are calling me. And I think they need to lose, this is the hard part, they need life to kick them in the face and say, you know what, when everybody else is getting better and I'm not, maybe I need to actually figure out what's going on with me. And that's like kind of a little bit of the difference between a sex addict and a drug or alcohol addict is that what they're seeking the methods in which they're seeking it are different, but at the end of the day, what they are really looking for is the ability to love themselves. And we as the therapists and the clinicians in the mental health field have to help them find that ability to love themselves.
Right.
We don't have to help them find why they're so good. We have to help them figure out why they could love themselves.
Maybe that. Okay. We're saying very similar thing.
Yeah.
We're saying very similar thing. I agree. It's interesting.
I told you to agree with what I was going to say.
Yeah. I really wanted to disagree because I was like, dude, who are you to tell me what I'm going to agree with, bro?
I started our place.
That's right. You start our place. You're like a Madrego above. There's a book called The Sith. You ever see Sith? They give it out to kids. It's a fantastic science fiction book. Anyway, in the book, there's something called Thunderhead. And Thunderhead is like the AI that runs the whole world. And the world's like it's a perfect world. But it's not. Okay. You know, that's how these things work. Anyway, one of the things is that the Thunderhead could wipe all your memories and give you a new life if you want. There's a way to do that. You could just say, I don't like this feeling I'm feeling, and then you could just get new feelings, new family, new memories, new everything. You could just wipe it out again. So it's funny that it's written like that, but the answer to addiction is a 1 second answer. You go from I am not worthy to I am worthy. Mm-hmm. That's it. If you could, so you're saying when you're talking about self-love, it's it's just understanding your worthiness. But by the way, your worthiness is not from a rational place. You're just convinced that you're worthy. Is it rational? You could say it's rational because you understand I'm connected to a higher source and there's something special. But really, worthiness comes from your parents and people around you telling you you're worthy and you believe in them. Mm-hmm. That's really where it comes from. So the brokenness of addiction is that I just don't have this self-love. I will say this, that I wrote a lecture a long time ago, but they maybe changed the name. But the lecture was called "Self-Love is I'll say BS."
Okay.
And other advice from Sony Proman. So it was like you can't really convince somebody that they should love themselves, and they need to redo. So what I'm saying about addiction, I'll just put this out, I must have said it a million times on the pod, but what I'm saying about addiction is that they're right. What they're seeking is the answer to their addiction. They know that connection is the answer, that whether that connection comes from drugs or food or from sex. They know that that's the answer. The problem is that it's not coming in a way that's actually changing their belief in themselves.
Right.
So you're getting a hit, you're getting a validation hit.
Well, there's a sentence that an addict, when you hear from an addict, you know that they're an addict.
There's a sentence. Okay, what's a sentence?
The sentence is, I got high for the first time, whatever it might be, and I realized that this is how it's supposed to be. Whenever I hear that sentence, right? And it may be their second time, the third time using, but at some point they come up with that statement of, this is how it's supposed to be. And when I hear that, I don't need any more to be able to say this guy, not that it really matters in my opinion, whether you have to officially diagnose him as with addiction or not addiction, but this person is an addict and they need some addiction recovery work. They need something that's going to be a little bit different than, just regular mental health, interventions, which that also works, but I don't want to get into the whole nuance of that. I mean, unless maybe we do, but I'm just saying that's the sentence that I hear from people that tells me that this person is an addict.
Well, I agree. That's definitely because everything's all right with the world. Now, I feel connected. I feel all right. I feel worthy. I feel beloved. I feel all that stuff. You feel it all, and it's better. Other people don't feel that when they do drugs necessarily. They just feel amazing.
Right.
And there's a difference. It's a different feeling.
And good for them.
Yeah. and good for them. We're not okay. So here, actually, interestingly, because I just had on this whole podcast about codependency, I got some very interesting feedback from that one. Most addictions don't have the devastating, damaging effects of sex addiction that I've seen. And my question to you, and I'm sure you're dealing with some of these couples and how they're dealing with it.
So painful.
And the betrayal trauma is
so painful.
Is ridiculous. And it's interesting because
it's harder for the spouse to recover than it is for the addict.
Can you explain that?
The addict has to do whatever they got. They have to stay clean. They got to stay abstinent, or their form of abstinence from, especially in the world of sex addiction. It's not so black and white. But they're able to go and just live their life if they're working an honest program of recovery. If they got quality therapy from someone who understands sex addiction, then they kind of like move on. They're like, okay, so I'm not going to try to, score points with these other women that are around me anymore. I'm just going to focus, keep my head down, do my thing. I want to take care of my wife. I'm going to be a great husband. I'm going to do a lot of stuff. But the woman is walking around with trauma, and they're in a constant state of trauma. So when the husband doesn't call, where is he? When the husband says, "Oh, I'm stuck at the office," trauma. When he forgets to get something from the shopping list, he's probably out doing something. So he just ran in and grabbed a couple of items, and they're in a constant state of trauma. And to heal that trauma, where they're being activated and triggered 24/7, is so painfully difficult. And my heart goes out to them. It's so painful. It's so hard. And I mainly work with the men. I have another clinician with me that works with the women. I've heard from the men, like, what the hell already? Like, give me a break already. And I have to just constantly remind them, like, you're in a different place than them. You need to constantly, we're talking about 5, 6, 7 years. Just reassure them. And if you're getting sick of it, then you have to really look at your own recovery. You have to look at your own work and what's going on with you. Because the opposite of detaching from their marriage is now fully attaching to the marriage, and their wife is going through a medical issue. They would be there nonstop, right? God forbid if a spouse has cancer, right? They're gonna be like, okay, well, you say no, you can't. I can't bring you another cup of water. I'm just so sick of bringing you cups of water. No, you can bring another cup of water. You have to take them to chemo again. You got. I don't want to compare the cancer and this type of idea, but I guess I am. But that's what it is. You have to tend to their needs, because the thing that's going to heal that mistrust is your words matching your actions. And it's not going to happen in 30 days. It's not going to happen in 60 days, 90 days. It's going to take years.
Could it ever really be healed?
Yes. I'll be sure. Yes. It's very, very difficult. It's very, very painful. I have some amazing couples, amazing people. That their marriage is only as good as their marriage is today. It's messed up, but because of this, because they had to go through this healing together, and I've even heard they wouldn't want to say it directly and outright, and this I hope this is going to get some reactions. I've heard that in some cases it was worth having this blow up so we could have this type of marriage. That's a husband who's doing it right.
Right. I sat down with Ellie Nash a while ago, and he was talking about the difference. And he talks about this topic a lot, but he was talking about the difference between sex and intimacy. Mm-hmm. And I find it I mean, I truth is, this is not my specialty. So actually, it's nice to ask more questions.
Okay.
I have a lot of theory, but it's not my specialty. Not that I'm not dealing with it a lot, but it's nice to talk about. The problem that I've seen is that sex becomes the bad thing. Mm-hmm. It becomes the thing that I act out upon. Now I got to be with my wife and be intimate, and this is a whole nother world. It's almost like the drug addicts. Great, they just say no more drugs,
right?
And it's no more drugs. Just take it away. And this one, I not only have to. It's even harder than the eating addict because I not only have to do the thing that I was addicted to,
right,
but I have to do it in a beautiful, connecting way, which is exactly the opposite of what I've been doing.
I can't have my head be somewhere else. I have to have my head be here with my wife right now.
But that's so hard even for a regular person.
Right.
So they have to go from one absolute extreme to the other.
Right.
And the wife has to believe it. And we're only talking about husbands and wives. It goes the other way as well. I'm not saying it doesn't. But I've dealt with so many wives. It's just like, this is...
Dealt with the other side, the other...
What?
Dealt with the reverse also.
Right.
Yeah.
But this betrayal trauma is absolutely horrific. And so, I mean, sometimes my heart goes like, you guys cannot do this. Like, you got to find new partners almost. And that's...
Right. And they do. They can't be with the same partner they were with before, because that partner is going to betray them. It's going to hurt them again. They need a new partner. The question is, can this physical being be that new partner? Can this person who you actually fell in love with and stood under the chuppah thinking, this is going to be my man, this can be the father of my kids, or fine, we'll throw the mother of my kids, and is this going to be like, and that's completely destroyed now. There really has to become like a revival, right? We have to say he is arisen for this guy, because you're right. It can't be that same guy. It's got to be a different person that you fell in love with, but it's the same person, but it's a different person, and hopefully a better person, but it's not the same person who was the person who is the person.
Yeah. Now, I will say, I mean, I'm being a little negative, but it's partially just playing devil's advocate.
Yeah.
But I will say the people that I've seen that have healed from addiction sometimes are way better than even regular people that we meet in the world, because every single thing in their life is important and has to be done consciously.
I'll tell you, Grayline, at one point I wanted to write an article about the drinking on Shabbos, but then it became, I don't know. I took my foot off that gas pedal.
Okay.
Right, but I was speaking to this guy that familiar with, who did his fair share of drinking, started going to meetings, doing really well. So I went to him and I asked him. He wasn't a client; it's just a guy that I knew. And I asked him. I said, okay, so what's the new thing you're into, right? Because so many times they pick up other things, and just curious if he was taking care of it. I said, what's the new thing you're into? And he said, my new drug is shalom bayis. Right now it's all about shalom bayis for me. I got to make sure that my wife's happy. I got to do this, and I'm like, you know what? Yeah, this is a new guy. This is different.
I love it,
right? Because when you're there, and this goes for for marriage, relationship between husband and spouse, but relationship between parents and their kids, between parents and your parents. It's all about the relationship, and I have this line when it comes to marriage. TM trademark, can't use it. I'm kidding. Use it. That marriage is a one-way street that goes both ways.
Okay, you're gonna have to explain that. If I'm gonna turn that into a clip, you have to end with an explanation.
Okay.
No, I'm kidding.
So marriage is a one-way street. I can't be thinking about what are you doing for me, right? I got to be thinking, what am I doing for you? And you got to be thinking, what am I doing for him, right? So marriage is a one-way street. But if it's going to work, it has to go both ways, right? So so eventually we're humans and we'll end up getting resentful. We'll end up getting like, all right, like, can throw me a bone maybe, right? But if everyone's thinking about if relationships were really about taking care of the person that's across from me, and I'm not going to worry about what they're doing for me, I'm just going to focus on what I'm doing for them. Mm-hmm. That's what it's all about. And if my partner, right, is thinking about what am I doing for him, that's great, right? For my kids even, like, what does my kid need? Not what I want, what I want for them. Like, I want them to live X, Y, and Z way. It's really about what's best for them. And if I'm thinking about what's best for them, and it may actually be against what I really kind of want, that's parenting, right? Because it really has nothing to do with you. That's love, right? So love is a one-way street.
Well, love, yeah, I say it a little differently, so I'm glad I don't have to ruin your trademark. But no, you see, if your marriage is 50-50, I say marriage is 100%.
100%. It's
100%, and you got to work on your resentments because, I'm giving 100%, and they're giving me nothing,
right?
So there's that. But
I think we're human.
We're human. We have to deal with that. But I think when we describe love, it's actually better when you look at your relationship with your kids. It's easier to understand the idea of 100% expecting nothing in return. Much harder to understand from a spouse.
Right.
And I don't actually. Ultimately, there is a contract that you have to fulfill. You have to, I can't love you 100% and then you go cheat on me. Mm-hmm. You also have to fulfill the contract. But the way to love is to love 100%.
Right. But I'm not going to be paranoid that you are going to be sleeping, sleeping with other people. I'm just focused on giving.
Right.
And that's what it is. It's funny. I had with this kid idea that you just shared. My doctor. We were just getting into the conversation, shooting the breeze. He told me that when he was doing rounds, he used to do rounds at some in a hospital somewhere, and he walked into. He's a Jewish guy, completely. He's not religious. I don't know, completely not religious. But Jewish guy walked into this old woman's room. She was like a 90-year-old Holocaust survivor person, and she just said to him, goes, Dr. Perlman, what's wrong with you? And he's like, well, we're talking about everything's fine, everything's good. And she said, when you're done with your rounds, come back. So he finished his round. He was curious, so he went back and he sat down and he goes, Mrs. Perlman, what's I said, Dr. Perlman, Mrs. Perlman, whatever.
They're all related. In this fake story. Okay.
And he goes, all right, Mrs. Greenberger.
No, right.
What did you want? So she says back to him, Dr. Perlman, what's with you and your kid? And he was like blown away because there was something going on between him and his kid. And he said, how do you know? He goes, I can tell. It's old, European, Holocaust survivor women, they just know everything. So he says to her, I give this kid my life. He's the apple of my eye. I love him to no end. And I just give and I give and I give and I give. And he's a jerk to me. He just yells at me and treats me like garbage and just completely doesn't care about what I am. And here I am giving him everything and he's just yelling at me. Why is he a jerk? So the lady says, well, because you got it all wrong. You're not supposed to expect anything back from him. You just got to give him. You're expecting something back from him, and that's your mistake. Stop expecting anything from him. The father's job is just to give. And the doctor goes, it was complete. She nailed it. I stopped having any expectations of what I'm supposed to get from my kid, and I just gave and gave and gave, and it was beautiful.
Right. I agree with that. And now, okay, I'm getting off I know how much we're enjoying talking about sex addiction and their spouses, but you came with your kid.
I did.
Let's give a shout out. What's his name? He's behind the camera.
Azriel.
Azriel gets a shout out. Azriel's an epic dude. I never met him before, but I'm very excited to meet him. Anyway, okay, this is sometimes I ask questions which I'm like hoping someone would ask me one day, you know. Okay. So that's how I think of questions sometimes. So when you told your story, like there was a lot more to the story, I'm sure, but you went to California and you went in Chicago, you're helping all these teens and helping all these people in addiction. How has helping everybody else affected your family life? I'm getting personal. Like how is that? I know I grew up, I'm the child of a therapist, and it was hard for me, like watching, my mother, like, taking care of everybody else.
Right.
And I know I've had a massive shift in my own life in terms of this topic. Like there was a point where I just said like family first, and I just kind of shifted. And I think earlier on, I definitely spent enormous amount of my time and energy with the work and kind of lost touch. How has it worked with you? It's a very wide open question, but like how is all this helping affected your family life?
That nobody has asked me that question before, and I don't even know how to answer that.
All right, you can sit on it. You want to leave?
I'm just here to keep him honest.
Okay. So I'll tell you in the beginning.
We have to bring him on if he's willing to make comments.
Okay.
Okay.
Have to answer this question. I know that at some point I realized I have to stop working with teenagers because my kids were all kind of going up into the same schools and being part of the same circles and stuff like that. So I have to like really slow down my work. And every time I get a call from a teenager, I ask how old and what school are they in, and I got to figure out if there are any circles that are connected before I'm even willing to consider taking it. But I know that my kid, you've told me a couple times, he's here, Azrael's here, that that he's had guys come over to him and say, "Oh, your father's my therapist," or "He was my therapist," and say good things, bad things, whatever.
I want to talk about OurVillage Women's Home. OurVillage is a sober living community in Pomona, New York, and a lot of people mistakenly believe that it's like this is like a regular like halfway house. It is not. It is a full-blown community where you are embraced and loved and cared about and cared for. And they will literally do anything to help you move forward. It is the safest and most wonderful place to come and get your way through the recovery. They help you in every single way. OurVillage is everything you need to help you get through the most difficult time of your life, early recovery. And it helps you transition into an independent, amazing life. And we believe in OurVillage that everybody has the potential to be their amazing self. And the people that come are awesome. The staff is awesome. You definitely want to get in touch with them. It's OurVillageNY.org. Reach out and you'll find out all about it.
Being a therapist, especially if you have your own practice and you're sitting with people all day, it's exhausting. It's tiring. And I don't know if I get an A+ with this. My wife would tell me I don't get an A+ with this.
Don't get an A+.
I don't get an A+. Okay. It's like being able to come home and still have energy for the kids and still have, a lot of opportunities for the kids. But, I don't think that you kind of like just become the opposite. I think you have to you have to realize that you're not a therapist now, you're a father. And that's different. And again, I'm not a therapist at home. Right? If one of my kids need reminding of things that they need to do, they get reminded.
Yeah.
But at the same time, having some understanding of background of like what's helpful versus what's hurtful, I think it does help.
Right.
I'll say that.
That is, yeah, it does help. I will. My daughter asked me. I was driving her. It's fascinating because I actually. As your kids get older, you realize, I realize, that the only quality time you spend with them is when you drive them somewhere.
Yeah.
because especially if they have a phone or something like that. With driving, you got a captive audience. So I made it a commitment. I'm really proud because my daughter just graduated while you did this her last semester.
Nice.
And she rated graduation, but so I got to, all the years she was there, I always drove her back and forth, which seems crazy, but we got some really quality conversations, which I really loved, and I'm going to miss now that she's graduated. But I guess we'll figure out other ways.
It just changes at the end of the
No,
day.
but she was like asking me, like, oh, do you feel like you're like a little, therapy to us kids? Like you're like, she was asking me this, and I was saying, and she was kind of referring to the fact that I have like enormous amount of like compassion for them and empathy. Like, and I'm like, that's what you're supposed to have for your kids. I'm supposed to have that for you guys more than I'm supposed to have it for my clients. Like, this is the most. But I never see myself as a therapist to my kids. I think it's a bad idea to analyze them, try to figure out the situation. But it definitely, there was a point in my career, we didn't really get into it, but there was a point in my career where my identity was really coming from being a helper.
Right.
Like I felt that that's what made me awesome in the world, is that I'm a helper and all these people need me, and there's emergencies and I was running our place, so like there was plenty, and there was therapy, and everybody needed me, and all that stuff, and that's what gave me a lot of my identity, which is similar to the conversation we had about addiction. It's not that far off. I was getting my identity from that, and as I've gotten older, it's been less and less of that. And I always wonder what kind of effect unconsciously that has gone on to my kids from them, me running around like I'm not around, and I'm bringing in all these people into the house, and there's big, huge Shabbos meals and all that stuff. And it's been a lot. Like now, I just spend enormous amounts of time with my kids, and I don't feel like an itch to like go help somebody to feel better. I don't know. I always wonder how, the shoemaker's kids like go without shoes. Like I always. So that's kind of the question. It was really fun to have your son weigh in on that. That was cool.
Listen, it's funny. I remember one time. When we were going through a little something, trying to figure out our own parenting approach and how we're going to deal with certain things that certainly weren't going the way we thought we would have liked them to go. My wife and I were driving, and we were making fun of the fact that I'm a therapist and she's this big, inspiring, Amuna teacher, right? Okay. And we went on this like probably for 20 minutes. Like saying comments that other people probably are saying about the Greenbergers. Oh, well, of course, all the therapist kids are crazy. Oh yeah, well they probably are sick of hearing about Hashem from the mother, and so it was like one after the other, and we were like dying of laughing while I was driving, which wasn't very safe, but we made it to our destination. But I think that's also true. Is that at the end of the day, like it doesn't really matter. As a therapist and as a person who's involved in community work, and you talk about your identity, like for 13 plus years, my identity was so wrapped up in being a community person that like, if I didn't know something that was going on in the community, but and other people knew about it first, then like I felt like I wasn't doing my job. So, and my whole identity was about like, having a big impact on the community, whether it was in LA or Chicago. So I think the idea is like at some point, like you have to like just completely strip yourself of ego and just say what's best for this person that's in front of me, and the people that are in front of me are my kids, right? And I have 4 of probably the greatest kids on earth. I'll go head to head with you, and then, right?
My kids are the best for me.
Yeah, the best for you. But yeah, I think my boys are great at baseball. I think, that's something I'm very proud of. My daughter is, She's amazing.
I love how much you're into baseball.
Yeah, no, we're big baseball fans.
I just want to take a little shot here. Baseball is the dumbest sport in the whole world.
First of all, if you,
I know this is going to cost me.
I'm gonna say that you didn't watch the World Series this past.
Oh, I watched the last 5 minutes.
Okay,
I did.
So if you would have watched the last game of the World Series,
I did.
the whole game.
No, but it was on while we were having a cigar.
Okay, so you didn't watch the game.
No,
it was noise in the background, right? You can't. First of all, baseball is the best sport to exist, and when it's played at its height, when it's played at its optimal with the talent, the skill, and you're talking about the upper echelons of athleticism, baseball is the best sport, bar none. There's no.
You want to back that up? Like why?
Okay, first of all, you're hitting a ball with another round item, right? And the ball is moving, right? And you have to size it up, so you have to already know what they're doing before, right? And then you're fielding a ball that's spinning like crazy because of the way it was spinning when it was coming to the batter, and then the batter hits the ball and it's spinning out completely different. You have to figure out how it's going to bounce off the floor to be able to field it or get a right time and jump and catch the ball. You have to know where all the runners are. You got to know where all the base runners are. You have to know where your fielders are. There's so much that goes into it. I don't know chess.
Yeah.
I don't know how to play chess.
Right.
I can appreciate that people love chess because of baseball. Because you have to just have so many different things on your mind.
But I would think like football, you got all that happening, plus everybody's moving at once, doing different things, and it's like full-blown action happening really fast with a lot of people moving. I mean, I played a lot of baseball as a kid, and I was a pitcher, and I
baseball
loved it.
Or softball?
I played both.
No, but did you play baseball?
I mean, camp it was softball. At home it was regular baseball. I would pitch both.
Okay.
I will say I played as a kid, so it wasn't that high level. I will say the reason I became a pitcher is because I was too ADHD to play any other position because pitcher was the only one doing things.
Yeah.
Everybody else is sitting around waiting, especially if you're a good pitcher.
But
They're going to wait more.
Were you throwing or were you pitching?
What do you mean that? What does it mean?
Were you throwing, meaning you get the ball and just throw it to the catcher, to the home plate? Or are you pitching and you're focused on your mechanics, you're focused on getting the ball to spin certain ways, to hit locations in certain places, to have it move from the top to the bottom?
This is a yeshiva ball, so I'm not a high level. But I was able to pitch over 70 miles an hour when I was like 14.
Okay.
That was pretty fast. I was able to do some things with the ball.
Right.
I wasn't.
Chris, do you believe over 70 miles at 14? No chance. No chance. You don't realize how fast 70 is.
I did. I used to because I got these guys to measure it.
Yeah?
That's how I know.
Okay.
But I'm not saying that was the fastest I could possibly throw it. But he says it's no chance. There's no chance.
I'll say it's a hot take.
Well,
it's a hot take.
It's not a hot take because I don't even care about baseball. But I was also a quarterback. I loved it. That was it. My arm was what I had.
Right.
But I just found it a very boring sport. So I was at like a much lower level. And now I'm not into sports at all. So football, they got me into football this season.
Okay.
And I think it's much more action. Doesn't most of the time baseball you're just sitting there waiting? Isn't that true?
Well, first
it's
of all,
funny. Sorry, I should have messed with you. You really love baseball.
No, I really love baseball.
I don't know how to argue because I don't like any other sports.
No, so first of all,
rugby's cool.
Rugby's pretty good. That's just brutal. That's epic.
I like a little beating up.
Yeah,
once in a while, it's a fight. Okay.
Yeah, well, first of all, in baseball, there's just benches coming out and like they catching
scuffle.
up on each other's stuff and hug each other and stuff like that. Yeah, that's the thing about baseball. Like that, there's like if you're gonna go out and clear your benches to brawl, actually brawl. Don't go out there and just push a little bit, shove a little bit. Like, come on. Like if you're gonna exude your energy to leave your bench to come run in the middle of the field, tackle someone. Don't just get around and push and shove. Like, come on.
Aren't there big consequences?
Yeah, but you're making enough money to do it.
I love going to I'm not going to make you defend baseball. You love baseball. I don't know anything about it. But I do love going to the minor league baseball field. We have minor league because I don't care about baseball.
Right.
So it's fun because then we're getting hot dogs. It's a good experience.
They have kosher hot dogs here at the minor league stadium?
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
So minor league games are actually a ton of fun.
They're so fun.
Because the talent's not as good, so they have to entertain the crowd. So they put a lot more energy into entertaining the crowd than they do in major league stadiums because the talent on the field is just so far better.
Also, I can't handle the intensity of people that really care about the game. When I'm like at Yankee Stadium watching, and like these people are ready to die for their team, and I'm like, this is very, very crazy.
Definitely you have to realize that in the scheme of things, like it doesn't really matter. And as a baseball fan, I can say, like at the end of the day, the Mets haven't won a World Series since I was 6 years old. I want them to win the World Series really, really, really badly. They're going to win the World Series probably next year, and that's right, next year. And
what, the Mets?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm going to be really, really happy. And then the next day I'm going to get up and go to work.
Okay.
Right? But it's fun.
It's just fun.
And
I also love that it was a bond with you and your kids.
Oh yeah. We've actually, me and all my kids. So my two younger kids actually do a summer baseball road trip with them every summer.
What does that mean?
We go to different stadiums across the country.
No way.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I like baseball again.
Right. So that's really cool.
That's very cool.
And we've gone to some pretty epic games. We've gone to some really great games. We went to Seattle, 2023, I think it was. Sat 4 rows behind the National League dugout for the All-Star game in Seattle.
Wow.
And that was great. And not only that, is that when they were talking about how bad the Mets were that year, they needed to find 2 idiots in the crowd wearing Mets caps, and they found us. And we were on TV, national TV, for about 30 seconds. Probably not really 10 seconds, but my son got a bunch of texts and like, oh, I just saw you on TV. So that was a really cool.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
How important do you think it is to have like these passions when you're like growing up and stuff like that? Like,
so again, like I think that. You have to have something to really. This is going. You have to have something that you can bond with your kids about. And again, I give so much credit for all those people that are able to bond over Gemara and bond over Lima de Torah and all that stuff. I mean, that's amazing. It really is amazing. Maybe I'm even envious of those type of things. At the end of the day, it's not me. I love Gemara. I learn. I have chavusas. Everyone have a chavusa. I'm part of a chabura. Right?
I write that down.
Okay, just be clear. It's not the thing that we bond over. Like I'll learn with my kids, if they gotta do this stuff, but sports, baseball in particular, it's something that we all are really into, and we really get into it, and we like it. It's a nice little way to go out and have a catch and go to ball games and talk sports at the Shabbos table, which my wife hates.
She does?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Shabbos table.
It's a Shabbos table. No?
Right, exactly.
So I do that with movies.
I know. I'm really bad at it because I get into it. I get into this. Anyway, so, but yeah, it's so important to have those things. To have
I love it. I love the connection. Loving the same thing as your kids I think that's awesome. I really am a big fan.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to take a pot shot at baseball to see what happens. But I think I lost that one. So because then I got like so emotional that you're loving your kids through baseball. Yeah. I'm like, listen, you won.
There's only one stadium in the AL and NL Central that we haven't gone to yet. And we'll probably get to there at some point in the beginning of the season. The Cincinnati Reds.
Wow.
Is the only stadium we haven't
committed.
We haven't gone to. We've done so the AL and NL Central. We've done San Diego, Anaheim. Dodgers weren't home when we did that trip, and then and we did the Mets, the Citi Field, Philly, Baltimore, and am I forgetting anything? I am.
And just the
NL and AL Central. All those.
Well, you just named everything you just named.
No, and all those.
And
things.
all the others.
And all, yeah. AL Central.
Everybody knows all the AL. No, I'm kidding. I have no idea what AL Central is. I have no you've lost me. Like I really should not have gotten this topic because I have no clue what you're talking about at all. Okay, AL Central. Okay, we're going back to therapy. You ready? Topic I have
sidebar.
any clue. I find the world so amazing that there is so many things to be interested in.
Yeah.
It's like every single topic you pick, you could spend your entire life on that topic is wild to me. I just find that wild. I remember I had a guy in my class, Jonathan Dykman. He knew all the stats. I think it was him. I think maybe it was someone else. But like every single stat you could possibly have.
Yeah.
I just like blew my mind that how deeply you could go into any topic. Anyway, I love that. But here, let me ask you a question. I'm going back to therapy for a minute. It's because it's a topic I understand a little bit.
Okay.
What in your career, because it's been a pretty wild like trajectory, what do you believe has changed in you? I would say how are you different than when you started in terms of what your thinking process is on human psyche and how to help people, and like what have you evolved that you realize the differences from when you started till now?
So I think this is true with most veteran therapists is we come into the field, you think you're going to change the world. And I think that acceptance of I'm not changing the world has definitely settled in. The question is, can I help people help themselves if they want it? And I'm going to also, I think this is another piece that I've really been focused on the last probably really longer, but I'm hyper focused on this in the last 10 years, 7 years, 6 years, I don't know, whatever. More recently is just really believing in the human capacity to heal. And people, if they're able to remove the barriers that are in their life, those obstacles, they will get better. And, it's not going to be some, real deep intervention that I, did. It's not going to be because I did, I had some great insight that's going to help them do there. It's the ability to accept some of the things that we've believed about ourselves that are not true. And I could believe the fact, and I can accept the fact that that's not necessarily true. It's just the result of how I made sense of the world, and now I can look at it differently. And once you have that moment, people will generally get better because people are awesome. People are designed to grow. Hashem built us and designed us to accomplish. And it's a lot of crap that gets in our way, that kicks us, that spits at us, that makes us question our value. That's the thing that stops people from growing. And if we can help people see their beauty and their awesomeness, that's the job of a therapist.
Wow. You didn't realize this in the beginning, you're saying.
Are you trying to say I was slow to it?
Yeah, you maybe a little.
No, I thought it's because if I get trained as a therapist and I implement all these different interventions,
I can change people.
I can change people.
Right.
Right. And it's only
I relate to that.
It's only going to be because I did this intervention and they had this great, everyone has this moment where like you say something in therapy and you think it's the biggest, insight that you're providing the client. And like months later, they tell you, remember when you said, I have to tie my shoe? It was at that moment I knew that it was like something completely irrelevant, nothing to do with anything. It's because you burped or something that all of a sudden, like, that was the moment that they realized that they were okay.
Right.
Like, my therapist burped, and that showed me that, like, you could be human. And
it has so much more to do with the relationship than actually the intervention.
It's all the relationship. That's what I said. If you're not going to be a good person, right, I mentioned this to you before we started recording. When I interview therapists to bring into my practice, I look for good people. I look for great people that have pretty good clinical skills, because your skills will develop. You'll become a better therapist the more you work. And even if you've been in the field for 15, 20 years, like you're always learning new things and always growing and always getting different nuances as to how to help people. But if you're not an authentic, genuine, real person, you're not going to become that, right? You got to be a real, genuine person. Can you laugh at your crap? Can you laugh at some of your misgivings? Can you admit that you have misgivings? I think some therapists are so afraid to I feel
like I was watching this interview with this, I'm forgetting who it was, but someone from the 1960s. It was a therapist, and he is famous, but I can't remember his name. I can't remember who it was. Yeah. And he was saying in the future, the therapists are going to be like the priests of the psychological world. Like they almost have got to a level of they're the rabbi, they're the the whitewashed version of a human being.
Right.
Like somehow we're supposed to look at a therapist like they've arrived at the top of the mountain, and if everything, and I see that. I honestly see it in myself where I feel a desire to act like I'm doing way better than I am. Mm-hmm. And then I have the podcast to knock myself back down and
to humble
myself all the time. But I find it to be a disservice to our clients to make pretend that there's a top of the mountain.
Right.
And if there is a top of the mountain, you're already there.
Right.
Meaning we're at the same top of the mountain.
I hate therapists that project to the public that they have it all figured out. I hate them. I won't refer to them, because if they're projecting that they have everything figured out, then what are they not dealing with? Because we're all dealing with something. And I'm not saying you have to spill your guts to everybody. There's a certain type of canvas that your clients need. It doesn't have to be a white, he used to say, you should be a blank canvas for your, right?
Right.
I don't believe in that. But you should be a canvas in which your clients can project on you, but it doesn't have to be so sparkly white. But I don't know that you're handling your own stuff to be present in the room with the client if you're so focused on projecting how you have your whole life is all perfectly figured out and sparkly clean and everything's all good, then you're not having a human experience. So how do I know you can actually sit with another human?
So why do people love that so much?
Why do therapists?
No, why do clients love that? I will tell you, the most popular people I see in this field, and this, hopefully this doesn't lose me any podcast guests, but the most popular people are people that are acting like their duty don't stink. I mean, to say it that way.
Yeah.
The people that are all stars in this field, everything about their life seems perfect.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that it's not.
It's not.
And everybody else in the field knows it's not. But people love it.
But do they say that their duty don't smell?
Yeah.
Or it's just everybody else is saying that the duty doesn't smell?
I've seen a lot of people, special lecturers and stuff like that, and they're getting up and telling you exactly how to live life, and they figured it all out, and they're presenting it as they got it all together, everything is fine. And for some reason, and it's not true, I know it's not true, because we all know, but for some reason people love that. Why do they love that so much? Or maybe you disagree. But
I definitely think that I definitely think you're right. I don't know why people love it. I think people want something to hang their head on, to hope for. Maybe I could, if I do X, Y, and Z. You want to turn me off, and my wife feels the same way. You want to turn me and my wife off to your speech? Just say, if you do this, then your kids will da-da-da, right? Your kids will, right? Your kids need to see blah, blah, blah. Please. Done. I don't want to hear it anymore.
Right. Well, I had this thing I would get. I mean, literally, I would say to my wife, one more person says shalom bias is the most. That's gonna fix your kids. One more person says I gotta get through this camera and beat them up. Right. I'm like, I'm so done with it. I'm like, we have the best shalom bias ever. And then my kids still have to deal with whatever they have to deal with. They're human beings. They're doing life.
You mean your kids are actually their own people?
They're people who have to deal with life. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think it's very good to have shalom bias in your house, but stop giving this speech.
Listen, shalom bias is so important.
Yeah.
For you. Because
and good for your kids.
Imagine, yeah, of course good for your kids, but imagine living with someone you don't like. It's hard. It's hard.
Yeah.
Right? You gotta love the person you're living with.
I don't think you gotta love them. I think you gotta like them. It's way harder.
No, you have to like them, but to love them is a whole new different.
You think that's the hard part?
No, that's a whole new level.
I think loving people is way easier than liking them. This is what
okay.
People ask me like, what's the trick to a beautiful marriage? And I've thought of a lot of cool lines, but really what comes out is that I really like my wife. Like most people, like I definitely love her.
So you know what's
but
funny?
Loving is kind of easy. But like I want to hang out with her.
Yeah. So
when's the last time you broke up with a good friend?
It's been a while.
Yeah, you can't. You like the guy.
Yeah.
You don't break up with the people you like.
Right.
You're like, oh, girl, let's go hang out.
This is my guy.
It's my boy.
Right.
So
no, for sure.
That's the secret to a good marriage.
Right. So I think that you have to, and I think that's also with your kids. Also, you got to like your kids.
Yeah.
Right. You got to like your
Jordan
kids.
Peterson says, make kids that you will like.
Right.
Because if you will like them, then other people will like them, and then they're dealing with the world.
And I was gonna say I'll say what I was gonna say before I decide not to say it, but I'll say it.
Whatever you think is gonna cancel you, that's what you want to say.
No, it's not about that. It's just I don't like people gushing over their kids, but I'm gonna gush over my kids. Each one of my kids are amazing kids. They're amazing people. They're great people. My youngest guy, right? Not the most academic kid, but he's sharp. He's clever. You say something stupid, he's gonna call you out on it, and he's gonna rip you apart for it. Right? It's awesome. The kid in between him and Azriel, his heart is huge, of gold, and he could hit a baseball a mile. Right? Right? No, but he's a genuinely caring, loving kid. And he cares so much about other people. And my daughter is just she's a growth oriented person. Like what else could you want from your kids, right? Just be growth oriented. Do they have their
I mean, Matt is real. He's awesome.
Yeah, and Azriel's,
I don't want you to say 3 kids.
And Azriel's just less of an idiot than his father. So it's already
he learned from your mistakes.
Right, yeah. So I mean, first of all, for him to be 20 years old, verge of getting married, he's got a great opportunity career wise. Like it's amazing. He's close. He's close with Rabeam, right? That's what else? What else?
Isn't it amazing to just witness a person who you got to bring them into the world, and you watching them becoming, I mean, sometimes terrifying, absolutely terrifying, but it's amazing to watch them.
But the key
start their own lives.
And the key is when they do stupid things, just take a deep breath, right? Let them figure out that what they did was stupid, right? Azriel's done a couple of stupid things. Right? But I think now he knows that they were stupid, and maybe he'll do it again because he's, again, just a little less of an idiot than his father. Just test it again. Right, just wait, maybe, was it really so stupid?
Sometimes you forget.
But I think that's it. That part of it is, and you've said this before, it's let the world kick you in the face. Right? Yeah. It's going to. Why are we trying to stop that from happening?
I don't have to be the world kicking my kids in the face.
No, of course not. Right?
They get it all themselves.
Right. And when the world kicks you in the face, let me be next to you. Right? Let me be next to you.
Oh,
right?
You're speaking my language, man. I love that. I will say that you said they're making mistakes. I do have the benefit of, I think I've done stupider things than any of my kids. So they haven't really shocked me. They all got further in school than me. They all did better than me. So I'm all I won on that one. I think that my wife was a much better behaved child than I was. So I think she got a little bit more shocked by where my kids were going and trying things. And for me, I was like,
Yeah, whatever.
seems all right. I'm all right.
Right. Yeah, no, it
helps.
It's really great. Listen, at the end of the day, if you can be, we talk about this also, if you can be just, not just positive, but like radically positive with your kids and with the people in your lives, like things are going to be okay, because people feed off of that. And if they don't think you can do anything wrong with this person because you don't believe that what they're doing is wrong, because you're radically positive, like this, he's doing something that to the world may seem wrong, but you know that he would never do anything wrong. So even if he's doing this, there's got to be a reason that he's doing it. And I trust that it'll be okay. So people just feed off that energy that you give them, and they're like, all right, yeah, cool, let's do it. And again, doesn't mean you're not going to be pained by some of the stuff, but pain is just a way for you to grow.
Right.
Grow.
Grow. Well, my worst fear in my whole life, I think my worst fear, maybe death, but no, my worst fear is that I will get old and the people that love me will not want to talk to me anymore. I think that has, it sounds kind of sad, but I think it's guided a lot of my approach to my parenting. It's like, is this something that I'd want to talk to me later on in life? Like, what the next move I make, is this going to make it closer to my kids or not? And I know it's coming from a negative place.
Right.
And I feel a little bit better about it. My wife looks at me like, I'm crazy. Of course your kids are going to want to talk to me. But to me, that's a little minug in my family that we don't talk to the generation before. I'm trying to break the minug. You know what I'm saying?
You gotta break
it's a tough minug to break. But I see so many people out there that are, it's like a crisis of people breaking off from an older generation.
Right.
And to me, that's like the horror of my life, like that I'm not going to have the people that I love around me as I get older. It sounds sad, but this is like, it's been in me forever. Like, I think I overcompensate in a million different ways because of this fear. I just want my people around me.
Right. So you should really see a therapist.
Sounds super codependent.
So I don't believe in codependency.
Oh,
I don't believe in codependency.
Don't believe in codependency.
No, I believe codependency exists. I think we just completely misplace it.
Okay.
So the same thing with enabling, codependency, enabling, those two ideas are really, at least in our communities, I don't see it. So in order for you to be codependent, in order for me to be okay, I need you to be in crisis. So for me, for that means that if you're doing well, I have to do something to mess you up so you fall back into crisis. And that's how we're gonna operate. You're gonna get better. I'm gonna screw it up for you. You're gonna fall apart, and then I'm gonna be back into this, right? Then things are okay.
Right.
I haven't seen in our community. I think maybe this is something that's different in our community than in other communities. I don't see so many. I don't think I've ever seen codependency. I don't think that I've seen people, parents, spouses, purposefully sabotage their loved ones.
It's never purposefully.
No. So subconsciously, metaphorically, whatever it is, will do things to mess up their kids' recovery or their spouse's recovery just so they are in crisis to do it. They may make mistakes. They may like piss people off, but I don't think that there's a subconscious effect like that happens. And I don't think enabling is something either, because you're
okay, but you're talking to your kids, you're talking to your spouse, you're talking about everything, both. I see codependency a lot. That's why
I think in general, I think the concept in general, Definitely not with kids and parents and their kids, and even with spouses, I don't see it so much. I don't really see it. I said so much to protect myself. I'm calling myself. I don't really see it because I don't think that we are I don't think we are subconsciously going out there to mess people up so that we have purpose in this world.
Well, okay. So first of all, I think that's an element of codependency. I don't think it defines codependency completely. I think it's an element because it works better that way. But the idea of codependency to me is just that I am not complete and I need you to make me complete. So now the best way to do that is it's an addiction to a person. So the best way to do that might be to make sure this person always needs me and therefore has to fail. And then I could pick them up and then they fail again and I pick them up. And as long as they're failing, I have meaning. So that's one way that it could come out. But I think I see, and maybe that's not happening at a huge rate, but I see a lot of people that are using other people to fill their hole. Like they're just, and I see it in the sex addiction. I see it in every way.
You know where I see that more?
Where?
In the helping profession.
Yeah. Okay, right. We're talking about, I have referred to my job very often as I'm a professional codependent. Like I do this is what I do to fill my hole. I'm going to fix all you guys and then I'm going to feel better. It's cynical. I think it's been more true when I was younger. I don't think it's untrue now.
Okay.
That's me who's conscious of this. I see it rampantly in the helping profession where people are the wounded healers. They're broken and they're using everybody to feel better. You're seeing that as well?
I'm seeing the fact that people who are not well not being resources to the people that need them in that particular moment. I see that happens, but I don't think that's codependency. I think that's just two hurt people trying to navigate their world together.
Were you saying two hurt people? One of them is the professional?
Well, either the professional or a spouse or a parent.
Well, I see codependency. This is how I define codependency.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Two dependent people in a relationship with each other. If you're a dependent person, you're going to try everything you can to take whatever's around you to make yourself feel better. So the best way I define codependency is like a dual drowning. Were you a lifeguard at any point?
Never.
All right. So dual drowning is the worst drowning because what happens is that I'm drowning. I grab the highest thing. I'm trying to save myself. So I grab the highest thing. That could be a person.
Right.
And then I pick myself up. But what it means is I push the other person down.
Right.
Then that person is drowning. So they push you down. The dual drowning, the reason it's so dangerous is because you both push each other to the bottom of the pool, trying to save yourselves. And that's just the best muscle. It's dangerous because you don't see them drown. Like most people are like, on the top. But the dual drowning, they go down to the bottom because they're pushing each other down.
Right.
A dynamic of it is that I need you to not be well, but it's not always the truth that I need you to not be well. I just need you to fill me. So that's where the codependency, I don't know how we started on the codependency topic, but I definitely, what you're saying is, and you're seeing, I like it. You're seeing a very positive view on our community, and this is not, I'm calling no way, bro. I see this all the time. Okay. I've seen times where people send their kid to rehab and get divorced because that was the only thing holding them together. I've seen.
Well, how about this? Right, this is something I've actually had to deal with on a few times.
Yeah,
it's like almost Yantif, and someone needs to go to treatment, and without doubt, typically the woman was like, maybe they can go after Yantif.
Right.
And I'm saying right now is the moment. They're motivated. They're willing. They want to go. They're open right now. The hand is out, asking for help. I don't know what's going to be after Yantif. They need to go now. But I kind of, my parents, my in-laws are coming in. Whatever is going on, is there any way we can maybe do that? They try to rationalize. I'm like, I said, listen, you can do what you want. I'm telling you right now, he wants to go for treatment. I can't tell you what's going to be after Yantif. I don't know anyone. I'm really trying to think. Anyone that said, okay, fine, I don't care. Let's wait till after Yantif and see what happens. Everyone says, okay, let's go off the treatment before Yantif, right? Because they at the end of the day they want them to get help. Granted, there's some enmeshed relationships that the relationship is to hurt people just feeding off their own dysfunction, and you're right, they're filling each other's needs and all this stuff. I'm not talking about that type of enmeshment where there's, where there's that's a whole other. I view that as a different. I don't view that as codependency.
Okay.
I view that as just two people living in a dysfunctional relationship, and
right,
whatever. Yeah,
I do see a lot with people that are getting better. That the relationship has some massive shifts in terms of like one person's getting better and the other person now needs to look at their own stuff. And it's a very terrifying experience for that other person in the relationship. I see that very often. The way out of codependency, and you're talking about maybe the more specific, very, very unhealthy codependency, but the way out of codependency is that one person has to rise beyond dependent to a more independent person.
Yeah, okay.
The other person now has the choice to say, I want to come with you, or the relationship's over. That's really how I see it always. You can't have a independent person and a dependent person really in the same relationship. It will eventually fall apart. You could try it with kids, and you could but you're not. No, there's no relationship.
Yeah, no, that I agree with. I think there's sometimes one partner gets healthy while the other one doesn't, and then it's either you're coming along with me on the healthy journey, or I'm going to continue my healthy journey, and I don't know what you're going to do.
It's interesting. I mean, it's really fascinating. Someone who's dealing with addiction is really not seeing codependency. I'm seeing it like in every single direction I see it. Maybe because I'm a professional codependent.
Right.
I'm just projecting on everybody.
Well, I don't see you as codependent.
What?
I don't see you as codependent.
Oh, thank you, man. This was worth it just for the session. You're building up.
Listen, I think that you are, you have a very abstract way of looking at things that are just not as common as everyone else, and I think you're a creative being.
Thank you, man.
You're a creative being and really different, right? And different is good, right?
Yeah.
And people get better under Sony's care. So how could you be codependenting people if people are getting better?
That's right. That's
so
true.
Boom.
No, but I
Mic drop.
You win that one. No, I don't have.
So I won the baseball thing and I won the codependency.
I don't have the part of codependency that wants you not to get better. Maybe it's because there's always like 400 people behind you. I could just make sure the next person's sick. I can take care of. It's fine. You get better. Next. I will say that I definitely enjoy people calling me and saying they're doing better. Very rare. Because I lose track of people, and then they call me up a bunch of years later and say, hey, I'm doing better. I'm like, please do that more.
There's nothing like it.
Yeah.
There's nothing like that, but that's because we're human.
Yeah.
Right? Like it feels good to know that you made a difference in someone's life. I got a call like that a few years ago from the beauty of the fact that I worked in New York, LA, and Chicago. I could mix things up, and you don't know where I'm talking about.
Right.
I had a person call me up and say, I just wanted to let you know that I'm about to get engaged, but I felt that before I get engaged, I have to call you and tell you because I wouldn't be where I am. Out of the blue, haven't spoken to this guy in years. It gave me enough, it was like an Ozempic shot for like 5 years.
Yeah, like a little mainlining. Okay, you just added 5 years to my helping career, so thank you. That was very nice.
That was amazing. I
will tell you one funny thing, and by the way, a bunch of people pointed out recently that I say I will tell you a lot, which is. I hate it when I bump into something that I'm doing a lot. Anyway,
okay.
You had your son on And he was saying that people keep coming over and your father helped me and loved me and took care of me and saved my life. So my son started having people, his friends, walking over to me and going, "Are you Jonah's father? Jonah saved my life." He has all people like coming over to me out of nowhere. Like, if you see my father, tell him that.
That's awesome.
Anyway,
awesome.
it's like his little funny revenge.
That's great.
I will. The other thing is that I have people keep up again to my son. They keep taking pictures. He hates that. Like they send it to me. Like, I bumped into your son. Anyway, I don't know why he hates that, but
That's great. No, I know. Like now that I have 2 kids in the professional world, and like when I have people that like interact with them, and I had this interaction with your daughter, and it was amazing, and he's just so great, and blah blah blah. Your kid, he's killing it. He's doing amazing. Like that's just
so awesome. All right.
I feel like I can have more.
I didn't
kids.
know. So your wife is doing all this Muna stuff.
Yeah,
What does she
I'll
do?
tell you what. She does this class called.
I love it. I feel like I'm catching up from the last 30 years. I haven't seen her.
So she does this class in the school that she teaches in Ari Crown, called Amuna Through Art, and she teaches for I think 2nd grade to 8th grade, like Amuna classes, and then they like draw and they art stuff like that. It's really good. I mean,
That's so cool.
yeah, it's very cool. And then this past summer, actually, she spoke for this organization, and her speech went viral.
Oh,
Like
no
Jewish
way.
viral, yeah. And she's been getting a lot of like, people are asking her to speak. I think yesterday she spoke to, or today she's speaking to like a group from Manchester.
No way.
Yeah. And now she gives like a.
Oh, so now she's in the lecture circuit.
Well, she
getting there.
doesn't want to say that she is, right? So
Well, I remember her rollerblading around Sage
Yeah.
Street. That's what I remember.
yes,
This
yeah.
is going
That's
back.
what she's known for.
That's what she's known for.
She's known for her rollerblading around.
That was pretty cool.
The night before our wedding,
Yeah.
her and Viva Mishkowitz-Menlowitz
Right.
were rollerblading around for Rockaway, and I forgot who it was. Someone said, "You're getting married tomorrow. Don't hurt yourself now." But she's like,
What are you talking about? I got this.
Yeah.
I think she was part of the chevra. There was a lot of rollerbladers. When rollerblading used to be cool, by the way.
Right.
That's for other people who are young listening to this. All right, rooftop question, because you got to make a flight
I got
at
a
some
flight.
point.
Yeah, at some point. What time is it?
If it doesn't get canceled, I heard they're canceling flights.
No, but they reopened, no?
Oh, the Rio? I have no idea.
Yeah, I have a flight to catch.
What time is it?
3:30.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Rooftop question. You've watched I don't know if you listened to the end of any podcast. If you're yelling on a rooftop, what do you want to yell to the world? Rooftop question. Do you know what the rooftop question is?
I will
You did,
now.
okay.
Now you just told me what it was. I have listened to a few of your podcasts.
It's hard to get to the end.
No,
If you get to the end, I always ask,
okay. Rooftop question.
what are you yelling to the world?
Just be okay with people. Be okay with people. People have everyone's got their crap. Everyone's got their stories. Everyone's got things that work for them, things that don't work for them. Just be okay with it. Right? No one's perfect. We're all just trying to survive and be good people.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, I didn't scream it though, but
Just be okay.
just be okay with people.
Always said A.B. Rottenberg had the best line for that question. First of all, big name drop. Getting
Yeah.
A.B. Rottenberg was probably the highlight of my life. But
Okay.
A.B. Rottenberg said, "Get me off. I'm afraid of heights." That was rooftop question. Thank you for coming,
my
man.
pleasure.
Get your
This is
flight.
great.
That was really fun.
It was a lot of fun, and it's always great to like.
It was
see
nice
you
to
talk
catch
and
up.
schmooze, yeah.
Thank you for this day that I've been given. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for this chance. Thank you for this chance to live anew.